Alright, well, I hope that's all in focus. I don't claim to be an expert in any of this stuff. It's all new to me. It's my first motorhome. But I do like working with things and modifying them, and I just wanted to show you what I had done in order to allow this trim piece to go follow the wood, because the wood has a curvature to it. This line here is where I'm actually going to have to make a 90-degree angle, and I'm going to do that by trimming two 45s out of it. And this is just plastic, so it's not, it's not hard to cut at all. It's pretty much just a matter of trying to do it as accurately as possible. And I'm hoping you can see that. I have to push it up inside this ledge right here with the bottom of my tool here to try and get it as close to this end as possible. And so I'm looking at a 45. So what that means, for those of you who are not sure about angles, whatever this distance is here, from here to here, which appears to be about a 3/4 of an inch, something like that, maybe 7/8 of an inch, that I need to be that close to that same distance this way. So then when I come across, that will be a 45-degree angle. Two 45s will allow me to fold it into a 90. Okay? So let's see what I can do. And here again, it's like one of the very first tries of me doing this. So if I screw it up, oh well. Yeah, well, that looks like less than a 45 right there, so that's kind of a bummer. So what that means is that this one's going to have to be more than a 45 in order to compensate for that. And I don't know if that's going to cut it or not. Actually, that one looks like a nice 45 right there. So what I can do is try this one again and see if I can get another 15 degrees out of it or something like that. Oh yeah, that looks pretty good right there. And this spot, this ledge is not going to be really visible, so I'm not worried about it. You can see how they're definitely not perfect cuts by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, that one's not too bad. And then I had to trim this side also, because this will also fight it. Like if if you're trying to bend it, you've got to let both sides work with you. And so now I'm going to try and do the same thing on this half of the piece here. So I don't know if I'll be able to or not. It's it may work or it may not. You just never know. And like I said, I don't claim to be an expert, so what you see is what you get. Maybe I should try my wire cutters and see if that's any better. Looks like I need just a little bit more. Okay, I hope that's enough. They're not in the right, they're not in the same spot. So that's kind of a bummer, because that means that there's a possibility that it might break actually, because it is just plastic. Oh, and I don't have enough enough right here, because you can see it stops before it gets to a 90. It gets to about, gosh, maybe 75, and then it bumps into itself. I could force it just like that, or maybe go underneath right here and then force it into a 90. I mean, I could do that. That's an option. Here again, this is 99% of the time that's not going to be seen, and so I'm going to go ahead and try and trim just a tiny bit more and see if I can get that little tiny bit of leeway that I want, and it will just make life easier. So that's much closer to a 90, and then having it go underneath is much easier because I didn't allow for that. And so now I just need to cut this straight across, because this is going to go up against the wall. So I'll cut it a little bit long, just in case my measurements were off a little bit. And here again, it's not an exact science, and at least not for me anyway. Maybe for some people it is. Whoa, that was close. And so I just want to trim this little edge off right here because that was a little abrupt. And all right. Yes. This side's way off. I mean, I'm going to trim this up just a little bit. Give me some more flexibility as far as installing it. And the main vision is actually going to be the very edge of it. And so by trimming on the top and the bottom, it shouldn't have a negative effect on the visual, because the visual is right here. And so, all right, well, I think that'll do it. I'm going to take my tools in with me just in case I need them, and we'll go check it out. All right. Well, I've got the support put in, and something else I wanted to mention. And this is, you can use this information on all kinds of different projects, but it's these walls are really thin. They're probably not much thicker than this at all. I mean, they're super thin. So when you're using power tools to put in screws and things like that, you don't want them super tight. So sometimes the best thing to do is just get them very lightly snug, and then come back with your hand tool, okay, and check them. If they seem tight, tight enough, then that's good enough. You don't want to use your power tool too much, because it'll strip out, this real easy. I mean, that DeWalt will just tear this stuff up. And so it's important that when you're putting things in, especially into light material, that you do your final steps by hand so you can feel it. Okay. Here is where I had the other part of the support, and I had loosened these two on the outside to put this strip up in here. And so I just remembered that, so now I want to make sure that they're tight. And here again, even though this is a lot more sturdier than this, okay, again, I don't want to overdo it with my tool. And so I just assume do the last turn or two by hand, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you'll hear the wood crackling, and that's okay too, because that means that you're compressing the wood, and there's nothing wrong with that. You do want to compress it, you just don't want to tear it. And so man, that came out really good. I was just taking a guess, and the biggest drill bit I could find was a 1/2 inch, and so I just used that, and luckily that plug fit right through there, so that worked out great. Let me think, what else? I think that's about it. So I can actually mount my my shark unit now, and so let me go ahead and get started on that, and then we'll see what the final product is. Thanks for watching.